I'm going to start this video by showing the layout of our yard. This is the northwest corner of our property. It comes down to a side street. These rows here are 60 foot long, and the rows on this side are 20 feet long. We have a big pine tree in the neighbor's corner right here that shades this corner and doesn't grow very good, plus it's really rocky and it's steep. So I haven't developed it yet, but we used to plant grass and mow it here, and we used to plant grass and mow it on that side, and since we've decided to use it for vegetable and fruit production. So we have a row of Suffolk Red. Last couple of days we took out some Monuka. You see, we took them out and planted some raspberries, and these raspberries are himbo top. Two 60-foot rows of himbo top. Then we have a 60-foot row of Concord with a sprinkling of the old flame seedless in the end down there. And I believe there's even an emerald, a white grape. Then we took out some boysenberries, some marionberries, some blackberries, stickery blackberries, and we'll utilize these two rows now for vegetable, probably vegetable tomatoes or something, you know, that type of thing here this year. Then we have a row of autumn Britain, fall bearing raspberries, which are cut off at the ground in the spring. A row of vegetables, a row of Polana raspberries. These are ever bearing, so I can cut them off in March and February. I can cut them right down to the ground and they'll produce this fall on new canes. Another row for vegetable production. A trellis row for cucumbers we'll use again this year. Three double 60-foot rows of Seascape ever-bearing strawberries. A double row of red Norland, and a double row of three varieties: Yukon Gold, Pontiac Red, and Russet on the other end. Between the potatoes and the raspberries, there's only a few feet. We may decide to use that, but I like to have lots of room to pick raspberries, so we'll see what happens there. This first row of raspberries is a floricane, July bearing only, can be thornless variety. We have 12 feet between that row and the next row of Titan floricane, July bearing only, Titan raspberries. So these fruit from July 4th to about the 10th of August. Then we have a pretty good sized distance here, looks like 12 feet to the next trellis post. And today we finished transplanting triple crown blackberries into this row where our tulamine used to grow. Tulamine raspberries used to grow. And then there's another 10 to 12 feet between them and the shop there. In the back of the shop we have a section of heritage raspberries. The heritage raspberries replaced where I used to grow the Swiss chard and a couple of things like that back here, and we had 3 hives of bees. Well, this beehive came in 3 weeks ago from a swarm. You can see them back there in the corner. And we've taken out some heritage raspberries and planted our year's supply of broccoli. These are 30-foot rows. Then the heritage raspberries I may nurse back to health here, but I haven't taken good care of them in the last year or so. Beyond that is a section of Bristol black raspberry. This is a stickery blackcap. Last year the watering system didn't do well for us on this section, so the raspberries suffered, but I can definitely bring them back to health. These are heritage, old-fashioned, ever-bearing primocane raspberries. In the center of the garden area back there is a pressurized filtered irrigation system, filtered by a sand pool filter. On this opposite side, we have a 20-foot wide row of jewel blackcap floricane raspberries. These fruit on last year's canes. Blackcaps. Then we have a section of Joan J. raspberry, which we've shared with the entire city, I think. Joan J. are totally thornless, ever-bearing red raspberries. So you can see from back in here to this side of the row, there are a few plants left, but we've dug most of these and shared with our neighbors and shared with everyone. We used to have a potato harvester, a one-row 1940s John Deere potato harvester parked right here, and the raspberries grew up through it. That finally was sold to some people in Wyoming that came and got it, and so now that that's out of it, we decided to just clean this area up, maybe move all the raspberries back into a formal row. They're getting quite close to the himbo top, which was our first planting from Nurse Nursery back east. This is 5 years old, this section of himbo top. Then we have a section here where we had some peppers and some corn last year. I just pulled back the drip lines, spread out the grass clippings, and we're ready to till and get started planting our garden. So today is the 9th of May, and we can easily see now if the last average date of frost for our area is the 10th of May, then I can look forward on weather.com and see that our area isn't going to expect any frost in the next 2 or 3 weeks, and so we should be able to go ahead and plant our garden. But I still have some cleaning up to do. This area here needs to be tilled. This section back here, you can see, is a little bit weedy. I haven't paid much attention to it because we've had our priorities. So all that needs to be weeded and set up for planting, and that's what we'll be doing here.